What up, people? Let's go in. Question. Did the Hebrews get their science and religion from Egypt? Let's talk about it. Let me bring this up first. All right, I'm bringing this up, Canaan, because we know Canaan is the fourth son of Ham, right? So it tells you here, the polities and peoples under Canaan. You have the Phoenician city-states, the Phoenicians, this is before the land of Israel, the Philistines, the languages of the Canaanite languages, the Phoenician language, the Moabite, Hebrew, Ammonite, right? It tells you here in Genesis 12. It tells you here in Genesis 12, all right, that Abraham was in Canaan. We showed you Canaan was the Phoenicians, right? And it says, now there was a famine in the land, so Abram went down to Egypt. I'm going to show you how long Egypt has been the backdrop of Hebrewism, to live there for a while because the famine was severe. So in the land of Canaan or Phoenicia, there was a famine, right? This is where God sent Abram, okay? I'm going to show you the one God that they follow as well. As he was about to enter Egypt, he said to his wife Sarah, look, I know that you are a beautiful woman, and when the Egyptians see you, they will say, this is his wife. Then they will kill me, but will let you live. Please say, you are my sister, so that I will be treated well for your sake, and on account of you, my life will be spared. Okay. So when Abram entered Egypt, the Egyptians saw that the woman was very beautiful. When Pharaoh's officials saw Sarah, they commended her to him, and she was taken into the palace of Pharaoh. So the Pharaoh then took Abram's wife. He treated Abram well on her account, and Abram acquired sheep and cattle, male and female donkeys, men servants, and maid servants. Okay. Egyptian maid servants and men servants and camels. The Lord, however, afflicted Pharaoh and his household with severe plagues because of Abraham's wife Sarah. Okay. The Lord, afflicted Pharaoh. So Pharaoh summoned Abram and asked, what have you done to me? Why didn't you tell me she was your wife? Why did you say she is my sister? So I took her as my wife. Now then, here is your wife. Take her and go. All right. The Pharaoh gave his men orders concerning Abram, and they sent him away with his wife and all his possessions. So he got possessions from Egypt. So Abram went up out of Egypt into the Negev, he and his wife and all his possessions, and Lot was with him. And Abram had become extremely wealthy in livestock, silver and gold. You see that? He had possessions before he went into Egypt, but when he left Egypt, Okay. He was extremely wealthy, right? And isn't Abraham the start of the Hebraic religion? All right. He became extremely wealthy in livestock, silver, and gold. All right. And Lot looked out and saw that the whole plain of the Jordan, all the way to Sihor, was well watered like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. You got to ask yourself, how come there is no breakdown of how Egypt acquired its wealth in the Bible? Because, like I've said before, the Bible is a book of Shem. Okay. We go to Genesis 10, and we're going to see the table of nations. Okay. Now, I'm not heavy in the Bible anymore because we consider the monotheistic religions the last ethereal stage of Nuwapu, okay, governed by three ether forces. Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, okay, these are the progenitors of the world after the flood. All right, so for those who are religious, how could Shem, Ham, and Japheth represent the prime races on the planet? How can one man have sons that represent the prime races of the planet? The Japhethites, right, would represent the Europeans and those around Turkey. Ham is supposed to represent the Africans, okay? Shem is supposed to represent those in Asia, the Asiatics, okay? If you go down, the Hamites, you see the sons of Ham. You got Cush, Mizraim, which is Egypt, Punt, or Put. Some say that's Somaliland or what have you, and Canaan. And Canaan is outside of Africa in Phoenicia. Okay. You see the sons of Cush. You see the sons of Ramah, right? And then it goes down to tell you how important Cush is. Okay. It goes to tell you how important Cush is. He was the father of Nimrod. And Nimrod started all of these cities. Okay. And Babylon, right? It tells you the sons of the Egyptians or Mizraim, the sons of Canaan, okay? The sons of Canaan. And it tells you, right, that so Abram departed as the Lord and had directed him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he left Haran. And Abram took his wife Sarah, his nephew Lot, and all the possessions and people they had acquired in Haran and set out for the land of Canaan. Okay. When they came to the land of Canaan, Abram traveled through the land as far as the site of the oak of Moreh and Shechem. And at that time, the Canaanites were in the land. The Canaanites were in that land, right? And you see Canaan being the fourth son of Ham, okay? Who was the God of Ham? Because the God of Ham cannot be Yahweh, right? Egypt is already established once Abraham goes into Egypt, okay? The Canaanites are already in the land of Canaan. These are Abraham's ancestors as well, okay? From his great uncle Ham. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we've been doing as Africans, man. We've been holding up all of the races. You see that here in America. We hold up all the races, everything that we've started in America. All right. Now we're at the point where the concentration is just music, hip hop, R&B. That's been smashed together. It's trap now, right? Everything that we've done in America, as far as us having our own identity and culture, has been hijacked. We've been holding up the races around the world for hundreds of thousands of years. Okay, so you see Kush and what Kush built. Okay, what Kush and his family built were these empires. Okay, I'm not getting into right now Africa, Asia, or we right now. I'm just saying, look at the words. Because when you go down to the Shemites, okay, this is where Abraham comes from, right? Out of Shem. Okay. They're just giving you breakdowns of the members of the family, but they ain't do anything as important as what the Hamites done. All right. So Abraham goes into Egypt and he acquires possessions. Okay. Israel does the same thing. Where he is, Jacob and them lot, right? They're Joseph, all of them, they're in Egypt, getting rich. And then they come out and then they flex. Okay. God's covenant with Abraham. Okay. Then the word of the Lord came to Abram saying, this one will not be your heir, but one who comes from your own body will be your heir. And the Lord took him outside and said, now look to the heavens and count the stars if you are able. Then he told him, this so shall be your offspring, right? Okay, he's already had, matter of fact, let's go back. I believe he's already had Ishmael. All right, that's Melchizedek. Okay. That's another important point. All right. Abraham was blessed by Melchizedek. All right. The son of righteousness with healing in his wings. When you look at the book of Malachi, we're going to put all that together. Okay. The son of righteousness with the healing in his wings, the sun disk with the wings. You know, the scarab can also, the symbol of capillary, right? The dung beetle with the wings is also a symbol of the sun and Ray, the early morning sun. Okay. After these events, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision. Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield, your very great reward. Okay. The Lord also told him, I am the Lord who brought you up, who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldeans to give you this land to possess. Okay. When the sun had set and darkness had fallen, let's go back. 13. Then the Lord said to Abram, know for certain that your descendants will be strangers in a land that is not their own, and they will be enslaved and mistreated 400 years. Some people think that this is talking about what happened to us in the transatlantic slave trade, that this is a marker for what happened in the transatlantic slave trade. But this is also an indicator that the Hebrews were enslaved to the Egyptians. Okay. because we haven't got to Moses yet. But I will judge the nation they serve as slaves, and afterward they will depart with many possessions. You, however, will go to your fathers in peace and be buried at the ripe old age. And the fourth generation, your descendants will return here, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet complete. So they go to Egypt. You know, you think about the land grab that the Europeans pulled off, the land grab of Africa, right? So they come into Egypt, okay? They come into Egypt. By the time Moses gets there, they're able to leave and then go set up shop in their famine-like territories. Okay? When the sun had set and darkness had fallen, behold, a smoking fire pot and a flaming torch appeared and passed between the halves of the carcasses. When the sun had set and darkness had fallen, behold, a smoking fire pot and a flaming torch appeared and passed between the halves of the carcasses. Now, I use Bible Hub because of the blue breakdown in here. So this 17 will actually take you to the Hebrew. You know what I mean? So nobody can deceive you. It will take you to the Hebrew. And you look into the Hebrew, I'll give you an example here, right? Because you got to ask yourself, the sun, okay, meaning to be brilliant, the sun by implication, okay? And you just go into it and you just peep the language. And you need to do this, right? You need to do this. Okay. On the day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, to your descendants I have given this land, from the river of Egypt to the great river Euphrates, the land of the Kenites, Kenizzites, Canaanites, Hittites, Perizzites, Rephaites, Amorites, Canaanites, Girgashites, and Jebusites. That's not Africa no more. Okay. All right. In order to get this possession, the Lord said to him, bring him some animals so he can chop them up. All right. So you got all of this land. After they came and they left, came back, got rich and fat, and then left again. Okay. This is how it started. You notice that these women are also always barren. The women are also always barren. They can't produce. Right? They can't produce. But who saves the day again? The eumelinites, the fertility, the power, the great immune system, you know, the great cellular works of the eumelinites saves the day. Who saves Abraham? Now, Abram's wife Sarah had borne him no children, but she had an Egyptian maidservant named Hagar. Remember them servants? When they left up out of Egypt in Genesis 13. So Sarah said to Abram, look now, the Lord has prevented me from bearing children. Please go to my maidservant. Perhaps I can build a family by her. Okay. You know, Lord Abba and another guy, I can't think of his name, was having an argument of whether Ruth was Moabite or Israelite. The Bible clearly says she's a Moabite, right? But look, Sarah, in the case, the progenitor of the Israelites, you got to think about the women as well. The progenitor of the Israelites, she wants her progeny to come, her lineage to come through Egypt. Okay. Question: are these maidservants, the men and the women, practicing Judaism at the time? What is Judaism or Hebrewism at the time? You see what I'm saying? What is the religious actions and protocols of Abraham right now? We just know he's building altars. Okay. But the Egyptians are not building altars, they're in empires. And in fact, at this time, politically, Egypt is one of the greatest empires right at that time. You know what I'm saying? And Abram listened to the voice of Sarah. So after he had lived in Canaan for 10 years, his wife Sarah took her Egyptian maidservant Hagar and gave her to Abram to be his wife. And he slept with Hagar, okay? And she conceived. But when Hagar realized that she was pregnant, she began to despise her mistress. Okay? Let's look this up. It's got this letter right here. Ishmael means God hears. Hebrew, okay, it's just quotes. All right. Then Sarah said to Abram, may the wrong done to me be upon you. She curses him right there, right? May the wrong done to me be upon you. She gave Hagar to Abraham. She got pregnant. This is what she wanted. And now she's cursing you, cursing Abram. I delivered my servant into your arms. And ever since she saw that she was pregnant, she has treated me with contempt. May the Lord judge between you and me. Okay. May the Lord. Now, Sarah is speaking the name of the Lord against her husband and master, Abraham. Let's look at that verse. Okay. The Lord is Yahweh. She treated me with contempt. May the Lord judge between you and me. All right. Did I go back too far? I think I did. All right. Here, said Abram, your servant is in your hands to do whatever you want with her. Then Sarah treated Hagar so harshly that she fled from her. Okay. This is the Hebrews, right? This is the females. You dig what I'm saying? See, in the case of the three ether ghost race, the females is the worst ones. All right. Now the angel of the Lord found Hagar. Now there's an angel of the Lord. Okay. This is not the Lord. This is an angel of the Lord. Okay. Malak, a messenger. Okay. A messenger. All right. Now the messenger of the Lord found Hagar by a spring of water in the desert. the spring along the road to Shur, Hagar, servant of Sarah, he said, where have you come from and where are you going? Now, see, Hagar is a servant of Sarah, but she wouldn't have been a servant of Sarah. Okay, she would have been a servant of the Pharaoh, who is a god of her lands and representative of the Most High God, right? So her whole lineage and everything is gone just by this statement right here. I am running away from my mistress Sarah, she replied. Where have you come from and where are you going? Okay. This will let you know that these messengers are in a form, okay, that is recognizable in a sense where one is not in fear of this angelic person. And what I mean, he's in human form. Okay. I am running away from my mistress, Sarah, she replied. So the angel of the Lord told her, return to your mistress and submit to her authority. Okay. Then the angel added, I will greatly multiply your offspring so that they will be too numerous to count. Who is this being right here? Who is this being right here? He's doing the same thing that Yahweh is doing. Yahweh is doing it for Abram, right? So the angel of the Lord told her, it's bold. Then the angel added, I will greatly multiply for your offspring so that they will be too numerous to count. They will be too numerous to count. Yahweh gave, look up at the stars in the sky, and all you can count and more will be what you have as a possession. The angel of the Lord proceeded. I bet you people, this is the importance of Doc, man. Doc made you look at these words and scrutinize these words, right? Before you can get you a Bible hub, man, you had to have you a concordance. And this is if you was diligent about studying what he taught to see if he was confusing you. That's what you study for. Don't believe me? Check it out. That comes from him. You understand what I'm saying? But like I said, religion to us is the last ethereal science of 9 science. Okay? It's the 9 science, the 6 science, and the 3 science, all coming from the 9 science. Like all religion comes from Egypt. And the angel of the Lord proceeded, behold, you have conceived and will bear a son. You have conceived and will bear a son. Okay? And you shall name him Ishmael. And you've seen that Ishmael means God hears. Okay? For the Lord has heard your cry of affliction. And he will be a wild donkey of a man, and his hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand against him. He will live in hostility toward all of his brothers. All right. So Hagar gave this name to the Lord who had spoken to her. You are the God who sees me. So Hagar gave this name to the Lord who had spoken to her. You are the God who sees me. Okay. For she said, here I have seen the one who sees me. Therefore, the well was called Bir Lahai Roy. Okay. It is located between Kadesh and Barad. Well of the living one who sees me. Okay. Now, when you see this Roy in here, couldn't that be Ra and Ray? Right? as taught through Nine Science and Dr. Malachi Z. York. And Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram gave the name Ishmael to the son she had born. Okay. Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore Ishmael to him. So this is his first son. Okay. This is his first son. He's coming from the land of Canaan. All right. He speaks the Canaanite languages. Okay. He has to know of the Medo Neter well, or the Egyptian languages, for Hagar and Abraham is speaking. Let's go into the languages. Okay. He's speaking the Phoenician language, right? She's speaking Egyptian language. So the etymology is uncertain. An early explanation derives the term from the Semitic root kin, to be low, humbled, subjugated. Okay. Whereas others have suggested it meant the subjugated as the name of Egypt's province in the Levant, and evolved into the proper name in similar fashion to Provincia Nostra, the first Roman colony north of the Alps, which became province. Okay. Is Egypt running Canaan at this time? All right. It says here that Kananu, as a synonym for red or purple dye. Phoenicia, Canaan, would be synonymous to the land of purple. All right. Tablets found in the Hurrian city of Nuzi in the early 20th century appear to use the term Kananu as a synonym for red or purple dye. All right. From, well, it says 1600 BC on the Mediterranean coast by the Phoenicians from a byproduct of glass making. They're talking about where they get the dye from. The name Phoenicia is connected with the Greek word for purple. Okay. Apparently referring to the same product, but it is difficult to state with certainty whether the Greek word came from the name or vice versa. All right. In the Egyptian language, Retchenu was the name for Canaan and Syria, covering the region from Gaza in the south to Tartus in the north, the region between Ascalon and the Lebanon, stretching inland to the Sea of Galilee, was named Shahai, which was approximately synonymous with Canaan. So this is important. Why? They're speaking two different languages. Well, Canaan still is a son of Ham. All right. And his brothers are Mizraim, Punt, and Cush. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back and check our story. Abraham becomes the father of many nations. You get the covenant, circumcision. Okay. Ishmael and Abram is circumcised. So here, right, Sarah is getting a promise to get her son. All right. Now you see the Lord is appearing to them. Okay. The Lord shows up. Melchizedek, you got Melchizedek, right? You got that angel that blessed Hagar, and then you got Yahweh. All with testimony, expressions of power, okay, with influence. Where is your wife? Sarah, they asked. There in the tent, he replied. Then the Lord said, I will surely return to you at this time next year, and your wife Sarah will have a son. You see what I'm saying? She's just going to get her one. See, Abraham, he had to lay down with that good Hagar. He had to lay down, get in that. But when it comes down to Sarah, she's just going to be pregnant. You see what I'm saying? Check it out. Now, Sarah was behind him, listening at the entrance to the tent. You see what type of female she is? She already cursed Abraham. She listening in on his business while he talking to the Lord. She listening, eavesdropping, right? And Abram and Sarah were already old and well along in years. Sarah even passed the age of childbearing. Sarah even passed the age of childbearing. Come on, man. Right? It's a lot. Some people out here saying that the Bible is a black book. We need to get to the point of where we're studying this stuff instead of coming up with our own ideals and perceptions about these books. So she laughed to herself, saying, after I am worn out and my master is old, will I now have this pleasure? Okay. She's questioning the Most High. Hagar not questioning the Most High. She was like, you seen me going through my travails, right? Even gave the Lord, the angel of the Lord, a name. And the Lord asked Abraham, why did Sarah laugh and say, can I really bear a child when I am old? Is anything too difficult for the Lord? At the appointed time, I will return to you in about a year, and Sarah will have a son. They're questioning the power of the Most High. He listening to the female. He seemed like a simp right here. You know what I'm saying? Why did Sarah laugh at me and say, can I really bear a child when I am old? And the Most High says, is there anything too difficult for the Lord? But Sarah was afraid, so she denied it and said, I did not laugh. Okay. Oh, she's a liar too, right? You're going to see this play out in Jacob, Israel. You know, when it's time for it, the stealing of the birthright, Esau, right? Same type of behavior, deceptive behavior. Okay. It says here, Abram intercedes for Sodom. When the men go up to leave, they looked out over Sodom, and Abram walked along with them to see them off. Now, you know, Lot is in Sodom, his nephew. Okay. And the Lord said, shall I hide from Abraham what I am about to do? Should I keep it from him that I'm about to knock off his nephew? Abram will surely become a great and powerful nation. Abraham will surely become a great and powerful nation. All right, this is the start. Abraham is the start of what became Hebrewism or Judaism. Will surely become a great and powerful nation, and through him, all the nations of the earth will be blessed. What's cracking right now? Okay. It's a major political push for Israel. For I have chosen him so that he will command his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord by doing what is right and just, in order that the Lord may bring upon Abraham what he has promised. Okay. You got to be true to the Lord. And the Lord said the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is great because their sin is so grievous. I will go down to see if their actions fully justify the outcry that has reached me. If not, I will find out. So let's do this right quick. I need that up. I need that up. I need that up. So we're going to go here. Give me a minute. What was I looking for? Oh, yeah. Okay. Boom. Okay, I did this, right? Because it says, because their sin is so grievous, right? So you go to Akkad, okay? You go to Akkad, right? Under Cush is one of the cities that Nimrod created, okay? Noram sin. Sin, meaning beloved of the moon god Sin. Okay. Sin, Enzu, Suin, or Nana, right? Now, people think that the information that Doc brought with the Babylonians, the Sumerians, and things of that nature was pseudoscience. But if you track in the Bible, look what I'm showing you right now. If you follow the words in the context, okay? So it's a god sin of the moon god, all right? 2100 BCE. That means he would have been known at the time of Abraham. Where does Abraham come from? Ur of Chaldees. Okay. Ur of Chaldees. Eric, Akkad, Calneh, in the land of Shinar, right? From that land, he went forth into Assyria. This is all in the same area. Where's the religion coming from? Okay. It's coming from Egypt and it's coming from Phoenicia. Okay. The moon god, the sun god, the earth god, the underworld god. Okay. The Akkadian epithet Namrasid was considered analogous to the Lim Babar as attested in the god list and equal Anum. Okay. That's just, you just rearrange the letters Amun. Okay. You got that right there, the sin. Let's go back. I will go down to see if their actions fully justify the outcry that has reached me. If not, I will find out. I will go down. Okay. When they come down, when they change the language. Okay. When they change the language. Then Abraham pleads for him. Okay. And it comes down to say, on a count of 10, if there's 10 righteous people in Sodom and Gomorrah, they won't destroy the city. Now the two angels arrived at Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gateway of the city. When Lot saw them, he got up to meet them, bowed face down, and said, "My lords, please turn aside into the house of your servant, wash your feet, and spend the night. Then you can rise early and go on your way." Okay. No, they answered, "We will spend the night in the square." But Lot insisted so strongly that they followed him into his house. He prepared a feast for them and baked unleavened bread, and they ate. Before they had gone to bed, all the men of the city of Sodom, both young and old, surrounded the house. All the men. They called out to Lot, saying, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Send them out to us so we can have relations with them." Let's check this out. Relations. They just want to have conversations. Okay. That's the wrong one, but I can go right here. Wow. Relations. Yada. To know. Okay. To know them. And here's all the breakdowns of how this word can be interpreted, right? Okay. And these are the breakdowns of the words. Okay. So let's go back. Now, some people have interpreted that as having wanting to have sexual relations with these men, for they have come under. Lot went outside to meet them, shutting the door behind him. "Please, my brothers," he pleaded, "don't do such a wicked thing." Okay. Now, this got to, if it's wicked, it's got to be more wicked a conversation. You know, what type of conversation is wicked? You know what I mean? Like, look, I have two daughters who have never slept with a man. Oh, we talking about sexual relations. Okay. We talking about sexual relations. This is Genesis. We haven't even got to Leviticus yet. Okay. Let me bring them to you, and you can do to them as you please. But do not do anything to these men, for they have come under the protection of my roof. So what's Sodom and Gomorrah looking like? Club 54. "Get out of the way," they replied, and they declared, "This one came here as a foreigner, and he is already acting like a judge." So they said Lot came into their lands as a foreigner, and he's already acting like a judge, like, we can't do what we've been doing. Now we will treat you worse than them. And they pressed in on Lot and moved in to break down the door. But the men inside reached out, pulled Lot into the house with them, and shut the door. And they struck the men at the entrance, young and old, with blindness, so that they wearied themselves trying to find the door. Now, if we was watching a movie today, how would the movie production companies play that out? It would be some type of Marvel comics, Marvel movie type thing, Marvel superhero type thing. You know what I mean? But the men inside reached out. Okay, so we're going to pass this up. We're not going to get all into the destruction and things of that nature. You got Abimelech. Okay, now you got the birth of Isaac. Sarah turns against Hagar. All right. Now the Lord attended to Sarah, and he said, the Lord did for Sarah what he had promised. So Sarah conceived and bore a son to Abraham in his old age at the very time God had promised. And Abram gave the name Isaac, okay, to the son Sarah bore to him. When his son Isaac was 8 days old, Abraham circumcised him, and God had commanded him. Abram was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born. Okay. So Ishmael is God hears, right? Isaac doesn't even have the name God in it, and his name means he laughs. Okay. He laughs. Then Sarah said, God has made me laugh, and everyone who hears of this will laugh with me. She added, who would have told Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Yet I have borne him a son in his old age. Okay. And then Sarah turns against Hagar. Then God heard the voice of the boy and the angel of God. Now the angel of God is dealing with Ishmael. Okay. Called to Hagar from heaven. What is wrong, Hagar? Do not be afraid, for God has heard the voice of the boy where he lies. Get up, lift up the boy, and take him by the hand, for I will make him into a great nation. Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. So she went and filled the skin with water and gave the boy a drink. Okay. And God was with the boy, and he grew up and settled in the wilderness and became a great archer. And while he was dwelling in the wilderness of Paran, his mother got a wife for him from the land of Egypt. Okay. So with all this being said, right, you see the intermingling of the Shemites with the Hamites, right? The Shemites with the Hamites. Okay. The Egyptians have their own culture, religion, and science outside of the Hebrews. Okay. So with all the affiliations that Abraham has with the Egyptians, do you think at this time Abraham is more Egyptian inclined than he is Hebraically inclined? Because what is the religion of Abraham at this time? Okay, let's check this out. Now, we see that Hebrewism, Mosesism starts with Abraham. Okay. Now, why am I bringing up King Hezekiah? Because I told you in the beginning that I was going to show you how Hebrewism and Judaism is definitely connected to Egypt, in which the religion came out of Egypt, right? Hezekiah was a ruler of Judah, said to be the 13th king in Judah, and this is when he reigned. Okay. So I'm going to show you a seal of Hezekiah. All right. Name Hezekiah means Yahweh strengthens, or Yahweh is my strength. I don't know how you get that out of Hezekiah, but okay. And it tells you the breakdown. Hezekiah's witnessed the destruction of the northern kingdom. Hezekiah, let's go into, all right. Hezekiah, in the 3rd year of the reign of Hosea, son of Elijah, over Israel, Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, became king of Judah. He was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 29 years. His mother's name was Abi, the daughter of Zechariah, and he did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, just as his father David had done. Now, I believe David is of the line of Ruth. He removed the high places, shattered the sacred pillars, and cut down the Asherah poles. He also demolished the bronze snake called Nahustan. Why did he do that? Because Moses needed that at the time that he made it. Okay, a bronze snake. That Moses had made, for up to that time, the Israelites had burned incense to it. Hezekiah trusted in the Lord, the God of Israel. No king of Judah was like him, either before him or after him. He remained faithful to the Lord and did not turn from following him. He kept the commandments that the Lord had given Moses. Okay, you see that? He kept the commandments and everything. He followed the Most High to the letter. All right. So I want to show you a seal of King Hezekiah. He's the 13th king in Jerusalem, in Judah. Okay. It says the seal, as impressed in the bulla, is extraordinary, not only because it belonged. Oh, here we go. My bad. The seal, as impressed in the bulla, is extraordinary, not only because it belonged to a well-known Judahite king, but also because it is iconic. That is, in addition to the Hebrew inscription, it shows a picture, in this case, a carving of a 2-winged beetle pushing a ball of mud or dung. Okay. We don't need that. Okay. So this is one of the seals of Hezekiah. It says King Hezekiah's seal revisited. Phoenician or Egyptian, the seal of Hezekiah, king of Judah, from 727 to 698 BCE, left this mark in this bulla, a small lump of wet clay used to secure a document. Okay, so this is an important seal that if he was sending a letter or something to other nations, this is what he would stamp on it. Okay. Judah belonging to Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, king. Hezekiah and Ahaz are the only 2 kings of Judah whose seal impressions have been recovered. At center, a 2-winged beetle or scarab pushes a tiny ball of dung. Okay, but that's really the sun. Why did Hezekiah pick a scarab to represent himself? 2 years ago in Bar, Frank Moorcross argued that the Egyptian-style imagery came to Judah by way of Phoenicia. Okay. By way of Phoenicia. When they're saying Phoenicia, they're saying Canaan. All right. They're saying Canaan. And Egypt was in control of Canaan. Okay. Let's see if we can. You see that? All right. With the Hebrew on it, let's see if we can get a better picture. got the ankh on it. It's got the sun, the wings. You see? Why are they using this symbol? Right? But it tells you about the Son of Righteousness with healing in his wings. Okay? Let's see where they may have gotten this from. And look, the winged scarab was a significant symbol in ancient Egypt. It represented the sun god Ra and was associated with rebirth and protection. Okay. All right. So you see Ra, all right, you got the Egyptian, okay, language. You got cuneiform in there. You got a Phoenician language, okay, of his name. That means he was known in Phoenicia, okay? You see? Cuneiform, all right? By the 25th and 24th centuries BC, he had become one of the most important gods in ancient Egyptian religion. Let me do something else. I'm trying to find a time where Abraham would have been living. So it says, according to the long sojourn theory, which pivots in Exodus 12:40 and apparent confirmation that the Israelites lived in Egypt for 430 years, Abraham was born in 2166 BCE. 2166. So Ray would have been known. Okay, he predates Abraham. All right, here's a little breakdown of Ray. Egypt definitely had a religion. So I'm going back to the true stars in creation. Okay, the sun symbol with the dot in the middle. All right. So all that to say is that this was going on prior to any God Yahweh taking form. Ra was represented in a variety of forms. Other common forms are a man with the head of a beetle and his form as Capri, okay, or a man with the head of a ram. Ra was also pictured as a full-bodied ram, beetle, phoenix, heron, serpent, bull, cat, or a lion, among others. Okay, so when you go back to the seal, okay, and then give me a minute. The great day of the Lord, for behold, the day is coming, burning like a furnace, when all the arrogant and every evildoer will be stubble. The day is coming when I will set them ablaze, says the Lord of hosts. Not a root or branch will be left to them. But for you who fear my name, the Son of Righteousness will rise with healing in its wings, and you will go out and leap like calves from the stall. Then you will trample the wicked, for they will be ashes under the soles of your feet on the day I am preparing, said the Lord of hosts. You see that? The Son of Righteousness with healing in its wings. So, do Judaism come out of Egypt or not? What do you think? That being said, I'm out. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. And y'all take it easy and have a good day. Peace.